We should be working to ensure that we can leave the European Union with a deal without having to hold those European parliamentary elections.
The Prime Minister had insisted repeatedly that we wouldn't take part in these European Parliament elections because we'd be out of the EU, Brexit would have happened, and so we wouldn't need to. But it hasn't, and so we will. Yes, that is the deadline that the UK agreed with the EU after it missed the first deadline and then it missed the second. But there is a chance that these new, smiling, jubilant MEPs could be elected this month but not actually take up their seats, because if there is a deal done before the end of June, they would effectively be phantom MEPs. They'd have won an election, they'd have gained a title, but they would never actually sit in the European Parliament. If that deadline is missed, they might sit for a little while and so need an overnight bag rather than having a 5-year term. Yes, they will, for at least as long as they are there. Now, MEPs are paid in euros, but when you do the sums, it adds up to about £7,500 a month before tax. They're also entitled to a pension, which they can cash from the age of 63, and that pension pot is determined by how long they have been in the job. But for new British MEPs taking up a job, if they do in the next few weeks and months, they won't qualify for a pension if we leave by the end of October, because you have to rack up at least a year's service. Everyone aged 18 or over, including people from elsewhere in the EU, and that's what marks these elections out as different from, say, a general election or the EU referendum itself. Now, last time round, UKIP were the biggest party in the UK, but things have changed a whole lot since then. The leaders of all of the big established parties in Great Britain and Northern Ireland have changed since then, and a couple of new parties have popped up as a result of all of the rows about Brexit. This man is in charge of a different party, and this lot all left their old parties to set up a new one. In England, Scotland and Wales, you choose which party you want to vote for, and the number of votes will determine the number of seats that that party is allocated. In Northern Ireland, you rank candidates in order of preference. The results will depend on plenty of factors, not least turnout. Now, historically, turnout in European Parliament elections in the UK is very, very low, but perhaps in the context of all of these rows about Brexit, it could be a little different this time. Now, the Prime Minister has said she will stand down, she'll leave Downing Street as soon as this first bit of the Brexit process, legally getting out of the EU, is complete. But if the Tories were to do really badly, as many predict, including some within the party, who knows? She might be encouraged towards the door rather quicker.